course, our universities can or can't accept College Board courses for credit. Maybe they'll do others. And then also just whether our universities do the SAT versus the ACT. I think they do both, but we're going to evaluate kind of how all that process goes. But at the end of the day, we highlighted things that were very problematic. And I tell you, it wasn't just people like me saying that. Across the political spectrum, people were saying that, like, this really is junk. Why don't we just do and teach the things that matter? Why is it always someone has to try to jam their agenda down our throats?
That was Florida Governor Ron DeSantis dismissing an AP African American history curriculum as junk. DeSantis went on the attack after the College Board dared to write an open letter denouncing his plan to strip African American history from Florida schools. But DeSantis isn't done.
So this College Board, nobody elected them to anything. They're just kind of there, and they're providing service. And so you can either utilize those services or not. And so they've provided these AP courses for a long time. But there are probably some other vendors who may be able to do that job as good, or maybe even a lot better. So I've already talked with Paul, and I think the legislature is going to look to reevaluate kind of how Florida's doing that.
For those of you who haven't been tuned into Florida's latest nightmare, Ron DeSantis isn't just bullying Disney anymore. Now he's coming after Florida schools. Earlier this year, Florida rejected an AP African American history class because Republicans claimed its discussion of racism was morally wrong. Now DeSantis wants to punish the College Board for fighting back. In its letter, the College Board described DeSantis' war against black history as, quote, moving from healthy debate to disinformation. They took issue with DeSantis claiming that African American studies lacks educational value, and argues DeSantis is trying to, quote, downgrade black history as an equal to any other history. That's great and all, but remember this. The College Board only issued this letter this week, and that came after they announced their willingness to, quote, reform the curriculum to match what DeSantis and Republicans wanted. It was only after a huge push from black educators and some black College Board scholars that they actually found the courage to say this attack on education was wrong. And remember this, too. The revised AP African American Studies course drops not only key discussions about the civil rights movement and queer black history, but also any discussion about criminal justice reform and prison reform. In their place, DeSantis demanded, and the College Board approved, a section that invites students to write about one of their favorite historical black Republicans. But Ron DeSantis isn't just attacking schools. He's going after their books, too. And despite the governor's all-out war on objectionable knowledge that would corrupt the youths, DeSantis is not too eager to actually talk about all those empty school libraries.
Governor, here in Duval County, we have seen bookshelves in schools emptied in response to Florida's new guidelines on books. I'm wondering, is this what
Actually, that video, that was a fake narrative. That was not true. And our press guys, where is Brian back there? He can get you the details on that. This is trying to create some narrative as if that. They hadn't even put the books out yet to begin with. So there's no need for all of that stuff. What they're trying to do is they're trying to act like somehow, we don't want books.
That's right. According to Ron DeSantis, all the videos of librarians removing banned books are just deep state liberal hoaxes. But what about when DeSantis faces a book removal he can't deny, involving a children's book written by Pittsburgh Pirates legend Roberto Clemente?
The Department of Education just complained to Duval County Sunday about a book about Roberto Clemente being kept off the shelves for months as they reviewed it.
That's politics, though. To be honest with you, come on. We know. Roberto Clemente, seriously. That's politics. I think these school unions are involved with this. You guys can FOIA some of these communications. I guarantee you'll find some of that.
That's politics, which is odd, given that the reason Ron DeSantis gave for banning AP African American Studies is because there's just too much politics in schools. But that's the thing about Republicans. Let them talk long enough and they'll tell you the truth just by sheer accident. What's terrifying is that the game Ron DeSantis is playing is actually working. And as Kimberly Crenshaw points out, it's creating a system of sharply segregated education, and it risks leaving Florida even further behind its peers in quality of public education. Here's more.
They've taken things that address inequality in the system and removed them from what people will actually learn, thereby perpetuating the ignorance and systemic racism.
And they've done it through a frame called divisive concepts, right? Now, when has the liberation of black people never been divisive? We fought a civil war on it. You can't get more divisive than that. Falling into this idea of divisive concepts means that all the contemporary aspects of the past that continue to shape the life chances of African Americans cannot be taught if they hurt some feelings or they make people feel bad or basically suggest that racism is something more than just prejudice.
Ron DeSantis has decided to take a flamethrower to Florida's education system because one AP course hurt his incredibly fragile feelings. This from the same party that loves to wear those facts don't care about your feelings shirts. Huh. Let's make one thing perfectly clear. Ron DeSantis doesn't care about giving Floridians a quality education at any level, because the one thing Republicans hate most is an educated population. Those eggheads don't vote the right way, and they aren't as easy to scare into supporting policies that rob them blind while consolidating power among a few authoritarian Republicans. Ron DeSantis is hoping to make his war on education into the defining issue of the 2024 campaign. And with Democrats still divided on how to handle DeSantis' crusade against what he calls woke schools, Republicans will have plenty of time to test their message in the run-up to primary season. As usual, it'll be the most marginalized Americans who pay the price for Republican cynicism. If you made it to the end, thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like and consider subscribing. And leave a comment below so you can let me know what I should cover next.